Barcelona Safari Zone is going to be this weekend, and then we have Mexico in November. So what do we have to expect from the city safari zones? What was my experience in Seoul, and is it going to be worth your time, energy, and effort to attend these events in Pokemon Go? Let's find out. Welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. These safari zones have typically been in the past all about in-park experiences. Only in GoFest have we been introduced to the split experiences where we are going to be half of the day in a park and half of the day in a city experience. However, we have now moved over to the city safari zones, which the entire experience is going to be in a city experience. While there are goods and bads of both of them, we are going to explore what my experience was in Seoul, what can you expect in Barcelona, and then also if you do choose to go to Mexico or maybe other ones in the future, obviously they will keep improving, but as of now, this is what we have. Okay, so here's my experience. Typically in the park area, they have a very well-designed spawn ratio. The stops are well distributed and everything is pretty well balanced and thought out because they design it. However, when we do look into these city safari zones, they are not typically designing these areas. They are using mostly POIs that are already in existence in the game. So while this is cool in some regards, in other regards, I really wish they would pump in some stops and some other things that would help us along our routes and around the city to make the experience a little bit more zestful. From what I was experiencing in Seoul, while there were some very densely spawned areas and some great Pokestopped areas, from time to time when I was walking from area to area, there would be a little bit of a downtime, which you typically do not see that when you are in a park in a safari zone, because the entire design of the park is made to make sure that you are always able to be spinning Pokestops, interacting with POIs, and catching Pokemon. So these spawn setups are as such. So what I think an easy fix could be, but what is not going on right now, is to just take some POIs, see what the balance is, drop a couple Pokestops, and then take spawn points and drop them over the top. I don't know if it's that easy from a coding perspective, but that would make the gaming experience that much greater. But as of right now, we have to take for what it is, and they are not increasing POIs. However, the one thing that we are going to talk about with the interactions is they are increasing the spawn density, so they're a little bit more typical to the Calm Day spawns, where you're getting a decent amount more Pokemon. I wouldn't say all the way to Calm Day, because I feel like Calm Day is like the max amount of spawns you can possibly get. These safari zones are probably about the middle of the grain. Let's say if today was 0% and this is normal, 100% is Calm Day with everything spawning, I would say the safari zones were in and around 50 to 60% of completely clustered spawns like Calm Day. So in that regard, I was slightly bummed. But let's talk about the gym experience, because we had Shadow Moltres going on and Guzzlord, and the gyms were spawning a lot of raids throughout the weekend. Typically when I raid from Moltres in the Shadow form or any of the previous Shadow Pokemon, they were a whole lot less populated than they were in Seoul, South Korea. There was an absolute megaton of gyms going on, including when I was able to get the 100% IV Shadow Moltres in Pokemon Go. If you want to see that vlog where I show the gym experience, you can check it out there. It was definitely pumped up as far as the spawn rates go to make these raids much more accessible for everybody walking around, which I definitely thought was a plus to the experience. On to the next experience, we have to talk about the POIs specifically set up to lead you throughout the city. So Eevee is the Safari Zone Pokemon, right? So I'm gonna go here and go into Campfire, okay? So we have to have Campfire. If you don't have Campfire, you need to get Campfire, especially if you're going to the Safari Zones. But if you're not, look, I mean, you guys can see the gyms in the area. You can scroll around. They did a good job at, I believe, you can zoom out a little bit right there. Okay, that's about as far out as you could zoom. I wish they would do that a little bit further to help us with the experience, but that's not currently the case, so let's work with what we have here. So this is typically the experience. You can click on, see when it hatches. You can go here, this one's hatched. This one ends at 3:53. You can get directions and chat, and you can light flares on these places to tell people that you are going here. But what we're focused on for the Safari Zone is down in the bottom. It says Pokemon Go with an arrow next to it. I'm gonna go ahead and click that, and you're gonna see different games in here. When you are at the Safari Zone, you click this, and if you are registered, it's gonna say Barcelona Safari Zone, or it will go to Mexico, or it did Seoul when we were out there. That experience, let's check it out. If we head into Campfire, we can obviously see the raids and everything like that. But if you click in the bottom where the Pokemon Go is, you know, you have the different games. We can also click on Seoul. So there's going to be these Eevee POIs that we're gonna be able to do for research all throughout the city of Seoul, which seems like a new, exciting, and see what comes about type of experience. And for the research, which is going to give you 8 total encounters encounters for day 1. If you do day 2, it resets, you get 8 total encounters again. You don't have to hit any of the unique Pokestops. You're able to go to each and every one of those POIs, and then you're able to spin it, and that will count towards the research. You do not get specific research for Eevees coming from these POIs, but it does count towards the special research that's going to be in your bag that is going to eventually lead you every single time to an Eevee encounter for a grand total of 8. And the POIs are designed in a fashion that takes you around the hot spots of the city. So if you do start at one area, you do move to the next area, it's going to lead you somewhere, and the next area. I do believe that as for Seoul, it was leading us to 3 different POIs that are cool, different landmarks throughout the city. For the experience in Barcelona, I don't know if it will be 3, 4, 2, I'm not really sure exactly what it's going to be, but it will lead you to different areas. So I suggest that you at least follow that route one time throughout the city, spin all of the Eevee POIs, and just a reminder for you guys out there that each of the Eevee photos are going to give you a unique Eevee photo stop gift coming from those Pokestops, okay? I believe that there's only 4 of them, so I think you'll get a grand total of 4 unique ones. I do have some of them saved in my bag right here if you guys do want to see these. So if we just go here, go into the gifts, here is going to be one of the Eevees. Here's going to be a second one of the Eevees, so the Eevee Happy. There's going to be an Eevee checking it out. And those are the 3 Eevees that I have right now. There's definitely 1 or 2 more. It looks like the top and the bottom one just have a slightly repositioned Eevee. But if you are into collecting unique Pokestops, this would be something to note because you can pin these Pokestops or save them into your bag to be able to make sure you can capitalize there. Which then leads us to the final part of this scenario, and that is going to be the spawns. Okay, so let's check out the Seoul spawns and the Barcelona spawns. So while we do have the Eevees on here, you are going to get Eevee encounters. I did not get a shiny. I saw Randy get a shiny. I didn't see very many other people get shiny Eevees. And then you're going to evolve all of these. I do have all the evolutions up here if you guys want to see that. But then let's go into the actual spawns of the event. So we do have Clefairy, Vulpix, and Growlithe. Electabuzz, Sentret, Murkrow, Unknown E, Unknown O, Unknown S, Heracross was there, Plusle, Minun, Shuppet, Chimecho, which is Stardust boosted, Joltik, which was one of the more desirable ones, Skiddo, which is a brand new Pokemon, Helioptile, Dedenne, Noibat, Yungoos, Sensu, Style, Oricorio, and Cutiefly. Well, Cutiefly and Oricorio cannot have shinies. All the other ones can. Let's check out which shinies I actually did get from all of them, because right now we could get 21 unique shinies. And what we did end up getting is Chimecho, Joltik, I did get 2 of those, Electabuzz, Skiddo, Dedenne 5, Helioptile 6, Growlithe 7, Heracross 8, Vulpix 9. So out of the 21, I only got 9 shinies. And for a grand total of 16 total event shinies, because the Executor is not a specific Soul event spawn that is outside of the event. So 16 total shinies in 2 days, which is extremely low for me. Every single time I play a Go Fest or a Safari Zone, my expectations and my results are typically that I am going to get a grand total of 20 at least shinies on each and every day, which was not my experience. I got approximately 8 shinies each and every day, which was not the best shiny rates. And not only that, a lot of these spawns here were quite lackluster, and while I was really excited about Heracross, the shiny rates were very low, so I wasn't really even able to obtain the ones that I was looking for. So now let's check out the Barcelona Safari Zone spawns. We have Squirtle, Sandshrew, Goldeen, Staryu is Stardust boosted, Magikarp, Unknown B, C, and N, Dunsparce, Shuckle, Hitmontop, decent, Loudred, Zangoose, kinda cool, Anorith, Relicanth is the big spawn, Gibble, pretty cool, Hippopotas, okay, Vanillite, no shiny, Carablast does have a shiny, Stunfisk, well played out, Skiddo again, Squirrelix, decent, and Sandygast. So while I do think that these spawns are better, I still think that they're a little bit lackluster, even though I'm very excited for people that are gonna be getting the Relicanth. I will not be going here this weekend. More than likely, the tasks that you're gonna be able to get from field research are going to include Relicanth, Skiddo, 100%. I would say potentially Gibble, and maybe Zangoose. And while if we do go to the Mexico Safari Zone, the Pokemon spawning will be Charmander, Ekans, Paris, Stardust Boost, Cubone, Wooper, E, M, and X unknowns, Pineco, Lotad, Seedot, Cacnea, love the Cacnea spawn, Baltoy. The Crown Duskull is definitely a rarer one, which will probably be in field research. We will have Tropius, Kricketot, Purloin, Emolga, no shiny, Axew, shiny, Rufflet, shiny, Skiddo, shiny, and Hawlucha. So I guess for me, since I've been a player for quite some time, I do think some of these shinies are a little bit bit lackluster, and these events could use a little bit of spice. Maybe a specific raid boss, maybe something that comes out that gives it just a little bit more oomph. And while these Pokemon, Relicanth and Tropius, I do think are very cool coming from these Pokemon eggs, especially since they are in typically very remote areas for most players and that are not obtainable outside of events such as GoFest Global last year, I still feel like there could just be a little bit more. While there are going to be 4-hour lure modules, while you are getting 5 additional special trades and 50% reduction on those trades, it still felt like the Seoul Safari Zone just missed a little bit of oomph. The shiny rates were definitely lower than normal. While the raids were cool, it was just Guzzlord, and I just felt like I lacked a little bit of things. Now, am I going to be going to Barcelona? I'm not. It's my brother's actually in town and it's his birthday, so that's one thing. And then finally, Mexico, I'm actually kind of on the fence now. If Seoul Safari Zone kind of gave me a little bit more oomph, I would have been very excited about going to this, but since it did not and kind of left me feeling a little bit unsure about this, while my friend Randy had a very good experience, and if you do want to follow him on Twitter, you can check out his Twitter over here, and he posts all of his great experiences. He does have very good shiny luck, which is very impressive. He has quite a blessed account, and he does work very hard as well. At the same time, my Mexico experience is a maybe. So with all that said, shiny rates, semi-mediocre. Don't count that that's always going to be your experience. That could have just been me having bad luck. Raids didn't have anything unique. While the shadow raids were definitely boosted, that was a plus. There were some good spawns, but I felt like they missed out on a little bit, and the Eevees were limited, so you couldn't really work harder to try to get more of those Eevees to try to complete the shiny Dex family of all of those Eevees with the Explorer hat, which I think might have added that little bit of extra oomph that may have made this event a little bit more special. And then maybe if they had one type of rare release spawn shiny, I know they typically don't do it for Safari Zones, but sometimes they do. Like Cutie Fly shiny would have been great because Cutie Flies were everywhere. On the back end over here, maybe they could have released Emolga, and that would have been a nice shiny to be able to release. But as of right now, I would say, is it worth to travel a far distance and spend a lot of money on this Safari Zone? My answer would be no. These Safari Zones are more geared for people that are very close in proximity, that can spend just a small amount of money, get there, maybe stay with a friend, maybe get a couple friends in a hotel room for a night or two, and optimize efficiency that way. As opposed to doing something like a GoFest, where you guys know when I'm excited about events, and I'm like, you guys gotta go to GoFest, there's nothing like a GoFest, go to GoFest, then those events are definitely worth traveling for, and you can add on top and explore the cities as well. So that's my experience, that's my feedback. Just want to be real and honest with you guys so that you don't go somewhere expecting high hopes and don't get those. I appreciate you guys being here as always. To all of my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to next level. I'm gonna see you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.